for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
There's a broader issue here that can't be escaped, and that is this. She is a white young lady.
WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is under fire. And the reason? Silence. As racist attacks against Caitlin Clark's fans explode online and in the stands, the league's top official is being called out for doing nothing. No statement, no action, just silence. Now fans, players, and even WNBA legends are demanding answers. Is the league ignoring racism to protect its image? Or is something deeper going on behind the scenes?
Charitable things about the other.
Well, the one thing that's great about the league right now, we do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion and music. Like, the WNBA players are really looked at now as kind of cultural icons. It's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. So
Caitlin Clark has quickly become one of the brightest stars in the WNBA, dazzling fans with her record-breaking performances and injecting fresh energy into the Indiana Fever's lineup. But off the court, a storm is quietly brewing. As Clark's popularity soars, so does a disturbing wave of racism directed at her supporters, many of whom are new fans bringing unprecedented attention to the league. The silence from WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert has not gone unnoticed.
In ways that others have not, even though their efforts have been worthy and deserving of being as celebrated, if not even more celebrated. And it's a reminder that no matter how far we believe that we have advanced as a society, there's still such a long way to go, because in the end, if you're white, you're bright, you're right, and as a result, the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America.
Critics say her lack of a firm stance is fueling division, and now the backlash is reaching a boiling point. Caitlin Clark's impact goes far beyond the stat sheet. As a rookie phenom, she's not just breaking records, she's bringing millions of new eyes to the WNBA, shattering attendance numbers and lighting up national headlines. But with that spotlight comes an ugly side. A wave of racist and hateful attacks has erupted, not just aimed at Clark, but viciously targeting her fan base, many of whom are young, diverse, and new to the sport. From vile social media slurs to disturbing chants echoing through arenas, this backlash isn't just about basketball, it's about who gets to belong in this game. And the silence from league leadership? It's only making it worse.
I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, I try to just be real and authentic and, share my truth. And I think that's very easy for me. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. And that's kind of been how it is my entire life.
Yes.
Both fans and players were looking to the WNBA's highest office for leadership, hoping Commissioner Cathy Engelbert would speak out forcefully and stand against the rising tide of racism targeting Caitlin Clark's supporters. But when finally confronted with the issue, Engelbert's response left many stunned. Rather than issuing a strong, unifying condemnation of the hate and abuse circulating across social media and even inside arenas, her remarks came off as vague, politically careful, and deeply disappointing. She acknowledged the league was aware of the situation, but offered no promises, no policy changes, and no clear call to action. And in a league that prides itself on advocacy and social justice, that silence hit hard. Critics argue that her muted response sends a dangerous message that certain kinds of hate will be tolerated if calling them out might spark controversy. For a commissioner tasked with leading the WNBA through its biggest growth moment yet, this lack of urgency has ignited a firestorm of backlash, not just from fans, but from former players, media analysts, and even team insiders.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to be hated. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. Mm-hmm. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
Right.
While the WNBA's leadership remained quiet, refusing to address the issue head-on, some of the league's most respected voices refused to stay silent. Sue Bird, a legend and trailblazer in women's basketball, broke through the noise with a powerful and unfiltered message. She made it clear that Caitlin Clark's struggles aren't just about rookie pressure or on-court performance. Instead, Clark is caught in a deeply troubling racial storm she never asked to be part of, used as a pawn in a much larger, uncomfortable conversation about race and inclusion that the league has long struggled to confront. But Sue Bird is far from alone. Current and former players alike are raising their voices, expressing frustration and exhaustion with the WNBA's response so far. They're fed up with vague apologies and performative social media posts that do little more than placate critics without sparking real change. These athletes want a league that stands firmly against racism, not only celebrating diversity when it's popular or profitable, but actively defending it when it matters most.
But what Caitlin Clark has to understand is that it's not really you personally. It's you, the figure. It's you, the prop per se, that is being utilized to address a bigger point. If we could do it, everybody has done it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others were trying to make things happen in the 50s, in the 60s. Rosa Parks refusing to give us a seat up on a bus. Everybody knows that was something that was orchestrated because a bigger issue needed to be addressed, and they had to find the right person to address it. And throughout history, we've seen a plethora of things transpire and take place where an individual had the light shined on them, and it was orchestrated and plotted and planned because a bigger message and a bigger issue needed to be addressed with the right person.
Caitlin Clark's rookie season has been a dazzling showcase of skill, determination, and record-breaking moments, capturing the hearts of basketball fans nationwide and bringing a surge of fresh energy to the WNBA. But alongside the cheers and headlines, a darker reality has emerged. Clark's fan base, rapidly growing and notably diverse, including many young people who see her as a beacon of hope and representation, has faced a wave of racist attacks and hateful backlash that cannot be ignored. These attacks range from vile comments on social media to hostile chants at games, creating an atmosphere of intimidation and exclusion for those who have come to the league with enthusiasm and pride. Instead of addressing these issues with urgency and transparency, critics argue that the WNBA's leadership has largely remained silent or offered responses so vague and non-committal that they feel dismissive at best. This silence is not just frustrating, it's deeply harmful. It sends a clear and dangerous message that as long as racism doesn't visibly disrupt the league's brand, it will be tolerated or swept under the rug. Social media has become a battleground, with hashtags like #ProtectCaitlin Clark, #SpeakUpWNBA, and #HoldTheLeague accountable going viral as fans, players, and advocates demand meaningful action and justice.
But it happens. Caitlin Clark is a wonderful basketball player who I think is going to be a star in this league. And she is box office, and she does generate ratings, and all of those things are true. But the fact that she is a young white lady and the world has gravitated to her the way that they have, in a way they have done for no one else in the 28-year history of the WNBA, and Lord knows how long Team USA has been into existence, it's just further evidence of the times that we're living in, but most importantly, the times we've been living in, and the progress that purportedly has been made, although it has existed to some degree, doesn't negate the fact that we can't gloss over the reality of what we're exposed to every single day. That is what Janae has spoken about. That is what Carrington was alluding to. That is what a plethora of people within the WNBA and within the world is alluding to today. Yo, y'all, there's still a lot of work to be done because things haven't changed nearly as much as we would like to believe.
This controversy has erupted at what might be the most pivotal moment in WNBA history. The league is enjoying a surge of unprecedented growth, shattering attendance records in arenas packed with passionate fans, securing major new television deals that bring the game to millions more viewers, and spotlighting a vibrant new generation of stars who are redefining women's basketball, both on the hardwood and in the cultural conversation. But beneath this bright spotlight, a dangerous fault line threatens to fracture everything. The racist attacks aimed at Caitlin Clark's fans, many of whom are young, diverse, and new to the sport, are not isolated incidents. They represent a broader issue of intolerance and division that the league must confront head-on. If the WNBA's leadership continues to respond with silence, half measures, or vague promises, they risk alienating the very communities that have fueled the league's remarkable renaissance. This is no longer just a public relations challenge. It's a test of the league's core values and its commitment to inclusivity and justice. Will the WNBA rise to this historic challenge, uniting players, fans, and leaders behind a shared vision of equality and respect? Or will it allow these divisions and hateful undercurrents to erode the progress painstakingly built over decades? The future of women's basketball and the legacy of this generation hangs in the balance. So, what do you think? Should Commissioner Cathy Engelbert be held accountable for turning a blind eye to the racism aimed at Caitlin Clark's fans? Will this controversy force the WNBA to finally make real changes, or will it leave lasting scars on women's basketball that won't heal anytime soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell.